We start now? All right, cool. So if you guys want to stand up, if you're comfortable, come up to the front. This is our first Velocity of 2021. How you guys feeling? We have a new song to sing with you guys tonight. Is that cool? Does anybody want to hear a new song tonight? We haven't done before. All right, Joe. This song's called Endless Praise.
chasing feelings. That's not why I'm singing. You're the reason for my song. I only wanna sing. If I sing, it's everything. If I sing for you, my king. Oh, I can't imagine why. If I do this for the high, it's unlimited high. Don't want perfection, just my soul's attention. All I have is what I believe. More than a song that lasts a moment, I'll live a life of honest worship. More than a song that I sing with purpose, all the praise I know deserve it. I only wanna sing. If I sing with everything, if I sing for you, my king. Oh, I can't imagine why. If I do this for the high, 'cause it's all that lifts you high. One, two, three, let's go. I only wanna sing. If I sing with everything, if I sing for you, my king. Whoa.
So glad you guys are here with us tonight. This next song's called I Am Loved. Is anybody here ready to worship tonight? Like I said, we're glad you guys are here. This song's I Am Loved. If you know, would you sing with us?
They're getting ready to welcome their baby boy into the world in the next few days. So you can cheer for that. We want to celebrate that. That's awesome. And what I want to tell you is, so he's not here tonight, so I get to come in. My name is Justin. I work with Bradley with stuff at the church here. So I'm excited to be with you guys. Bradley's super bummed he can't be here, so he sent this video for you guys. So check out this message from Bradley and Jamie about tonight.
Well, hey Velocity, Bradley and Jamie here. Unfortunately, we can't be there tonight, but we wanted to give you a little bit of an update on why that is. Baby, you want to tell them a little bit about why?
Sure. So, not this past Monday, but the Monday before, I went into my regular 35-week appointment, and they did my blood pressure. They were just checking on me and baby. My blood pressure was a little bit high, so they actually sent us over to the hospital that day, and they ran some lab work. They decided the safest thing for me and baby was to keep us here and monitor us closely over the past week and a half, just to make sure everything stays stable, which it has, which has been great. And actually tonight they are taking us down to labor and delivery. And so as long as everything goes smoothly through the night, we'll be welcoming our baby boy tomorrow.
Yeah, so we could be parents tomorrow.
Yes, so crazy.
Crazy. And we can't wait for you guys to meet him. And like she said, everything's been great, and mama and baby are healthy. And so other than that, we've just been living in the hospital. This is day, what?
I don't even know at
What
this
day is
point.
it? Yeah,
It's
besides
been
Wednesday.
like a week and a half.
Yeah, about a week and a half, and we're just in this room because she can't really leave, and so we every now and then get to take a little wheelchair ride
Yeah,
around the hospital.
we get 30 minutes a day outside of
30
this
minutes
room.
in the yard, and we're coloring, and we're playing games, and we're watching a lot of HGTV.
Yes.
So I'm going to be a master builder at the
We
end.
watched
of all
some
of this.
birthing classes.
Yeah.
Prepared ourselves.
I
a little.
Spy books, broke
Yes,
those out
yes.
from the childhood days. But we are like so sad that we're not going to be there tonight, obviously for the kickoff, and we miss you guys so much. It's one of our favorite nights of the week, obviously, and so we hate that. But exciting stuff happening, and we just know that you guys are in great hands. You have phenomenal leaders, a phenomenal team, and I just know it's going to be the best night. And so we're praying for you. We hope you have an amazing time, and hopefully we'll see you very, very soon, and you'll get to meet our boy Brecken. Thanks, guys.
All right, so that give you some more info on that. So they're going to have a super fun night tonight, having a baby. It's actually, and you guys, you might not know anything about having babies. That's okay. You don't need to learn about anything having babies for like 20 years, right? Like, don't worry about the babies. Hey, let's pray real quick for Bradley and Jamie. So if you could, let's take a moment of quiet. I'm going to pray for them just as they're getting ready to have their baby boy. So let's pray. God, thank you for Bradley and Jamie, and thank you for baby Brecken. And we just ask that the doctors would just know exactly what to do to help them have a healthy baby boy, and that everything would go as smoothly as possible tonight, and they'd be able to celebrate their son coming. And God, we thank you for them, and we want to show them some love tonight. So we just ask that you be with them. Amen. All right, guys, and if you are on Instagram and you want to show Bradley some love, you can actually go find him on Instagram. Even right now, I'm totally fine with you doing that. Don't do anything else on your phone, but you can do that. Go on Instagram. His handle is Brad T. Hamilton. So Brad T. Hamilton, just like the play, just like it sounds, Brad T. Hamilton. And go in there and send him a DM and connect with him and just say, hey, we're praying for you. We're super excited. And it's also a good person for you to follow, just so you know all the cute baby stuff coming and all the stuff with Velocity. So with him being out tonight, I get to kick things off. 2021, brand new year. How many of you are excited that you made it to 2021? Tell you, we should get some medals or something. We should get something for making it this far. But we're starting a brand new series, which every couple of weeks, if you're new here, we do a new series. We talk about 3 or 4 things. We're kind of connected. And this start of this year, we're talking about the pursuit of blank. Like the pursuit of whatever, the pursuit of things. And this is just a reality I know about all of us. Doesn't matter if you're middle school, high school, old school, it does not matter. Like every one of us is pursuing something in life. Like you're looking after something, you're making decisions that are moving you in a direction. Like you want something. It's something like you want a spot on the team. Like I don't even know what team it is. You want a spot on the team. You want a relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a friendship. Like you want to be noticed by somebody. You have your financial goals. Like maybe you're working to buy a car or the latest iPhone or whatever it is. For some of you, you're really pursuing college. Like any seniors in the room right now, juniors, seniors, you're like, I am so stressed out about college, it's freaking me out. Like anybody, like you're pursuing that. Like we're all pursuing things in life. But this is what I know. While we all pursue things, it's really easy to say we're pursuing the right things in our life. We're pursuing different things. Like it's easy to say you're pursuing one thing, and actually with how you live your life, you're pursuing something different. And my question for you as we even get started tonight is, what would your life look like if you had someone following you around for a week? Like, first of all, it's kind of creepy, but let's say you gave them permission. You can follow me for a week. You can journal and log everything that I'm going to do. Like, if someone followed you around for a week, what would they say you're pursuing? Like, what are the things in your life that you're doing? What are the decisions you're making? What are the things that you're doing? Because, again, it's easy to say, like, man, I'm all about my grades. Got to get that GPA up. But if someone's following you around for a week, they might be like, yeah, you're all about your GPA, but you don't ever study. Right? Or like you're like, man, like I'm trying to get a spot on the team. I'm really working towards it. Like I really just want to go out for tryouts. And the person following you around for you be like, bro, don't try out because you're not practicing. You're going to get embarrassed. Like I really want this relationship. I really want this whatever. And like the person following you around, like if they followed all of us around, they might find out that what we say we're pursuing and what we actually are pursuing are two different things. And this is the deal for all of us. Like many things that we pursue, many things that we're chasing after in life are really short and temporary. Right? And they're going to be gone before we know it. Like even you think about this, okay? Think about like Christmas 2017. Right? Like Christmas, going up to Christmas in 2017, you were so convinced of the thing that you wanted for Christmas. You just had to have it. It was the best thing. It was going to make your life so much better. And like for real, right now, you probably can't even think of one thing you got for Christmas in 2017. Okay, shut up. Come on, people. All y'all new stuff, okay? No, but for real, like think about it. Even like for a lot of us, like we love our technology, we love our tablets, we love like I got an iPad, like a second generation iPad when it came out, right? I spent the money, I got it, it was awesome. I had it for several years. You know what I did to that thing like 2 years ago? I threw it in the trash. Because it wasn't worth anything. It couldn't update anymore. And I was like, I'm just done with it. I don't want to care about it. I can get like $10 for it. It's not worth it. If you don't have an iPad, you're like, why would you do that? But if you have an iPad like I did, it's like, it's just not worth it. And so many things are temporary, not just technology though. Like even like your spot on the team, the relationship you want to have, all those things. Like I hope you have lifelong friendships, like legitimately. Like I hope you get some friends right now that you've had and will be with you forever. But the reality is, like that spot on the team, like chances are you're not going to be a professional athlete with that sport. Like that's going to have a shelf life on it. And those relationships, like they may go to college somewhere else. You might go somewhere else. Like things change. And I want you to have good friendships. But also the reality is so many things in our life are temporary. And if we pursue only things that are temporary in life, it's going to make our life fragile. And fragile things, like you think about something that's fragile is like it's easy to be broken. Right? And like you take great care of it, which take great care of your life. But when your life is focused only on pursuing fragile things or temporary things, it ends up becoming fragile. And if you put things that matter most into the things that you're pursuing, like you put your hope and your joy, like, man, this thing's just going to make my life so much better, or this thing's just going to help me be at peace. Like you put those things in the things that you're pursuing, which we all do that. If those things are temporary and fragile, then your life is going to be fragile. And another word I think even for fragile is your life is going to be anxious. Now here's the deal I just know about life, right? Like all of us can agree with this. Like we got some problems with anxiety, don't we? Like, and not like those people over there, those people, like all of us. Like we're all walking through stuff. We're just nervous about stuff. Even for some of you, you were coming here for the first time, maybe first time ever or first time in a long time. And you were anxious about coming here tonight, which that's so normal. Like everybody who comes for the first time is nervous about stuff, right? Like everybody, even for me. If I don't come here in a long time, I come back, I'm like, I'm a little anxious. And here's the reality. As I was looking at some things with students and anxiety, they asked a group of students, like how big of a deal are these different things? Like what is the major issue facing people in your peer group? And the number one thing people said was anxiety and depression. Like 70% of students said that's the number one thing. More than bullying, more than drug addiction, more than alcohol abuse, more than teen pregnancy. Like that's the number one thing. And a lot of you, if we're honest, you or your friends, you know someone that has a wrestle with anxiety. What I'd say too, like I'm not a professional about this at all, But I think there are like two kinds of anxiety. There's like the anxiety of like, I'm nervous about something. Like I'm nervous for a tryout. I'm nervous for a test. I'm nervous I'm going to a new situation. I'm nervous going to the dentist. Anybody in here with me on that one? Like you get nervous about stuff and you're anxious about it. And like, I'm anxious about that thing and it makes sense. But then there's also the other anxiety where you're just like chronically anxious about stuff. And you're like, I have no idea why I'm nervous about stuff. And I'm just nervous because it's a Tuesday. And like, there's no reason, and I know there's no reason, but I can't stop being anxious about stuff. And what I'd say with all that stuff is you got to talk to somebody about it. Because here's the issue. While 70% of students say anxiety and depression are the number one major problem facing their peer group, only like 7% of students are diagnosed with depression or anxiety. Whereas 7% is diagnosed with anxiety, 3% is diagnosed with depression. Now, what that tells me is all of you all know people that have issues with some of this stuff, but you're not talking to people who can really help you. Because the main word is diagnosed. Like they were able to sit down and talk with someone and get some help. And what I tell you is we're huge on that here. Like if you need help with stuff, like you can talk to us. We will direct you and help you find help because we're huge on counseling. I go to counseling. It's something like, being anxious and being broken is a normal thing. Why don't we try to normalize getting help? And if you're chasing your life after, you're pursuing all the things that are fragile, you're going to get the same things that everybody else gets. And what we're just talking about is you're going to have a life that's fragile and anxious. I don't really want that for you. I don't think you really want that for you. So what are the things that we can be pursuing? What are the things that we should be pursuing to help us get through life? Because here's the deal for me. I think Jesus is a real person who came and lived life, and he came to live life to show us how to live life to the fullest, to help you have the best life possible. But in order for us to have the best life possible that Jesus talks to us about and shows us, we need to pursue the same things that Jesus pursued. I want to tell you a story about this guy named Moses. And this guy's Moses. I'll give you a quick background on him. He's like ancient dude. You can find him. You can research him. He was a real person that lived in Egypt. But he was a guy who was like a Hebrew, which Hebrews are the same thing as like modern day Israeli people, right? The same people group, just different name. And he was a Hebrew person living in Egypt. And they came there basically as immigrants. And they're living in Egypt as immigrants, and things are great. And then the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, changes, and that Pharaoh doesn't know these immigrants, and he's like not about these immigrants at all. And God promised the Hebrew people, like, I'm going to bless you, and you're going to have awesome things in life. And I'm going to make you this flourish and multiply. And it's crazy, even if you're like skeptical of the church or the Bible or anything like that. Like I tell you, like, look into the Hebrew, Jewish, Israeli, like those are all the same people group. Like, look into the history of those people. Because there's been several times in history that someone has tried to annihilate this group of people and somehow they're still here. And it doesn't make any sense. And that's exactly what happened when Moses was around. See, the Hebrew people kept multiplying, they kept growing in population, and the Pharaoh got threatened by that. So he's told, and he's a bad dude, he told all of his guards and all the midwives to say, hey, if the baby comes out and it's a boy, kill it. And if it's a girl, let it live. Because he's trying to have some kind of like population control. So all these baby boys are being killed, and Moses' mom was like, no, not my kid. And she took him out. When he was born, she took him out, and she put him in a basket. And I know some of y'all have some crazy moms. I won't ask you to raise your hand because your mom will find out that you raise your hand, and you'll get in trouble when you get home. But your mom might be crazy, but your mom not as crazy as Moses' mom. Moses' mom goes and takes him and puts him in a basket and puts him on the river and pushes him down the river because her hope is, like, you will have a better chance on the river than you would being here because they're going to kill you. And he's going down the river, and he just happens to, kind of coincidence, shows up in the part of the river where the Pharaoh's daughter is there in the river, and she finds this basket, and she pulls it over, and she opens it up, and she's just like a kid with a puppy. She's like, oh my goodness, can we keep it? 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 And her dad's like, fine, we can keep it. So she gets Moses to come live in her house and grow up in Pharaoh's house, which like is crazy. He's this immigrant dude living in Pharaoh's house, being treated like a prince. He has everything he wants. Like, think of anything that you want, any brand sandals that they got coming out in Egypt back in the day. He gets whatever he wants. He got the brand new chariot on his 16th birthday. Like, he is just treated like a king that he is going to be one day potentially. And he's living life, and then he realizes, he looks around and sees the Hebrew people, his country people, the people he shares the same blood with, are now slaves in Egypt. And he's going around and he sees this one slave, this Hebrew slave being mistreated and beaten by a guard. And he sees this injustice. And he goes over and attacks the guard and kills the guard. Now I can tell you, here's the deal. I think we need to speak up about injustice. We need to raise our voice. But here's the thing. If you use an unjust way to try to bring justice to injustice, you still are unjust. Does that make sense? Like if I go and I try to do something that is not right to try to fix you from doing something not right is still happening. So Moses kills this guard because he feels this thing welling up in him, this desire, this purpose for his life. Like, I need to rescue my people. I've been given this opportunity, but he goes about it the wrong way. And then he has to run away from Egypt. And he hides away from Egypt for years and years. And this is what one of the writers of the scriptures said about Moses' life. And it said we get a kind of a picture of what was going on behind the scenes with Moses' life. And you can look up all these details. You can open the scriptures. You can read Exodus. It's like the second kind of chapter of the book in the Bible. You can read through that, all the details. I'm jumping all over all the details. But this is like a snapshot into Moses' life and the difference that he had here. It says it was by faith that Moses, when he grew up, refused to be known as one of Pharaoh's daughters. No, he's not one of Pharaoh's daughters. I would refuse to be known as one of Pharaoh's daughters too if I was Moses. But he grew up, he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. There we go. That makes much more sense. Okay, y'all with me now? Okay, good. Thank you for not laughing too much at me. He chose to share the oppression of God's people instead of enjoying the fleeting pleasures of sin. He thought it was better to suffer for the sake of Christ than to own the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking ahead to his great reward. Now, the beginning of this passage, it says that by faith, Moses was able to do this. Now, faith sounds like a church word, but faith is just trust. Just like you're sitting in the chair right now, like you trust that chair to hold you up. Right? You probably never thought like you have faith in a chair, but like that's the deal. If we're going to go from here to somewhere we don't know, what are we going to do? Right? We're going to pull out our phones, we're going to put in the GPS, and we're going to follow it. We're going to have faith in our GPS to get us to where we want to go. It's the same thing, faith and trust. And because he had faith in Jesus, because he had faith in the future, he gave up temporary things. Now here's the reality. We pursue things we have trust in. Like the relationships you're seeking after, the status you're trying to get, the popularity, the clothes that you wear. This is how crazy it kind of sounds. Like you have faith in your clothes to bring you joy. Now, for some of you, like legitimately, like, yeah, you got new clothes. Like you like new clothes. I like new clothes. I like new shoes, right? Like it gives me a moment of satisfaction. I enjoy that. But the reality is, like, how many of us are stressing out over wearing the right things to impress the right people that are not going to care in 2 weeks about the same thing? And we're going around our life pursuing things that are so temporary, and it's causing us to have such a fragile life. Instead, what if we pursued something different? Because here's the reality. As you pursue those things, as you put your hope and your peace and your joy in the things that you're pursuing, if they're temporary and fragile, when they are gone, your hope and your joy and your peace are gone too. Like some of you, you've experienced this. Some of you have had enough relationships where you go, yeah, I thought that was going to be the one. I even told them they were the one. They told me I was the one. It was great. And everything was in that relationship. And then whatever happened, you messed up, they messed up, things just fell apart. And you go, yeah, like all my joy, all my hope, all my peace walked right out the door. Or maybe it's not like a romantic relationship. It can be a parent. It can be a friend. It can be basically anybody in your life. Or the stuff that you have, you go, man, these things are going to make me so happy. And they do make you happy for a minute, but then once it kind of wears off, you go, man, my hope and my joy and my peace kind of wore off too. And this is just the reality is like, I don't want to live life like that. I don't think you want to live life like that either. I think even Scripture teaches us stuff, how we can live not a fragile life, but a steady life. Because here's the reality. If your security and peace or trust and are in things that are constantly changing, you will be constantly changing and try to keep up. Like my question is, like, are you tired of that? Like, are you tired of trying to impress a bunch of people that you're not even going to talk to in 5 years? Like, are you tired of seeking after and trying to find the next great big thing, the thing that these commercials, which are like propaganda that sell you on stuff? I get sold on stuff all the time too. My worst thing is like fast food commercials. Yeah, I see those and it's like you put like a timer on the clock when I'm going to Taco Bell. They got some new thing coming out, or I watch something, and like my wife Rachel's always like, you know it's not going to be that good. I'm like, shh, you don't know what you're talking about. The TV just told me it's this good. Get in the car. We're going to Taco Bell right now. But here's the reality. Like, even something like stupid like that. Like, man, does it taste good? Y'all never had Taco Bell before? Does it taste good? Yeah, stuff like that. It tastes so good. But here's the deal. It is so temporary. It's gone so fast. And there are bigger things in your life that you are pursuing, you're putting more of your life into that are going to go so fast. And it's not just me saying this. You talk to any of your small group leaders. You talk to almost any adult that you know. And like enjoy life, but don't put all your life in things that are so temporary because your life's going to be fragile. And here's the deal. I think for us, we got to start pursuing something different. Like, because if you want to get what everybody else has, if you want to have a fragile life that could crumble at any minute based on someone's opinion or some conversation or some injury that's going to get you off the whatever, like if you're content with that, then keep doing what everybody else is doing. But I'm not content with that. Like, I'd like my life to look different. I'd like my life to be more steady and more focused. But in order for us to pursue something different, we have to pay attention to something different. See, I think even for us, in the context of where we're at, like, we're a church. Like, we believe in Jesus. Like, the Jesus of the Bible, not some, like, hijacked Jesus that people take and run with all over the place and try to pretend Jesus did this. No, you look at the Scriptures. You got to follow the Jesus of the Scriptures. And Jesus of the Scriptures, he lays out things on how life works best. And it's simple stuff, too. Like, you will learn this, even like don't gossip about people. Right? Like, you start gossiping about people or you have people gossip about you, you're going to say, like, that's not a way to live life. That's going to end up with a lot of hurt and pain for everybody involved. And the Scriptures say, well, don't do that. If you start following the Scriptures, then your life, I believe your life will be better. But in order for you to follow and pursue after Jesus, you got to be able to pay attention to Jesus. I think that's a problem with many of us is we pay attention to so many other things. We don't have any attention left to give to Jesus. Because we wake up, what happens so often is we wake up in the morning. What do you do first thing in the morning? If you're like most people, you check your phone. And this is the thing that's kind of crazy. It's almost like we check our phones and we go on social media. And I'm not against social media. I'm not against technology. Obviously, I have a phone. I got social media. I use all that stuff just like everybody else. But it's almost like we open our phones, and maybe you've thought about it this way. Maybe you haven't thought about it this way. But it's like you look at your phone and you're asking your phone to give you permission to have joy and peace and hope for the day. And say, do I have enough likes? Do I have enough comments? Did they text me back? Did they say that? Did they DM me? And you're going to your phone, and instead of paying attention to something that's important and that's what matters more, you're paying attention to something so temporary, and your emotions are going like this in life. Because some mornings are great. You get all the things. You're like, life's awesome, but your phone shouldn't hold you captive if you can have joy or not. And when we pay attention to things that are so temporary, that's what we're doing. We're imprisoning ourselves for them to show us that we can have joy. Did I make it on the team? Did I get the relationship? Did I get the grade? Did I get the money? Whatever it is. And I think where Jesus says, hey, follow me, you have to pay attention to someone or something that you're following. So what do we need to do? Because this is the deal. I think I said this already, is Scripture teaches us how to best have life. And this is even something I think is so important, is that pursuing God's best for you leads to what's best for you. When you pursue God's best for you, it leads to what's best for you. Because I believe God created you with a purpose. I believe God created you with intention. I believe that He's the creator, so He knows how the thing works the best. And in order for us to pursue God's best, we got to pay attention to Him. So even something I want to challenge you specifically with this, like make it really simple, make it clear so that way you can hey, I can do this, I can start this, is would you, and this might sound crazy for some of you, would you not check your phone for the first 30 minutes you get up in the morning? And maybe some of you are like, bro, I already do that. Like my parents lock my phone down, it's in the kitchen, I can't get it till I go to school. Like maybe some of you are right there, already are right there. But would you instead take that 30 minutes, instead of paying attention to all these outside noises and checking with all these other things to see if you can have joy and peace for the day, would you slow down and would you check in with God the first 30 minutes of the day? And you don't even have to take 30 minutes. You can take 1 minute. You can take 2 minutes. This is my thing. I think you try to connect with God. It doesn't matter how long. Because if you spend 30 minutes and you're not connected with God, that's 30 minutes that are wasted. If you spend 5 minutes, 5 minutes connected with God is way better than 30 minutes just sitting there going, I guess I'm supposed to do this because they said I'm supposed to do this at Velocity. So would you, specific challenge, would you take this next week and say, I'm going to leave my phone off. I'm going to put on Do Not Disturb. And I'm going to take 30 minutes, the beginning of my day, and I'm not going to check in with anybody but myself and with God. And even if you're like, Justin, I'm not a religious person, which like everybody's welcome here. Everybody and anybody is welcome here. If you're like, I'm skeptical, I just came with them because whatever, is what I say, you don't even have to pray. You don't even have to read the Bible. I know it sounds crazy. You're probably like, you're at church, you told me you don't have to read the Bible. Like even if you look into so much science on the idea or the practice of meditation, like even if you're just like, I'm not doing any of the Jesus stuff, I'm just going to sit here and meditate, I think your life will still be better. And it's crazy because even if you look at the life of Jesus, he did a lot of like silence and solitude, which that's like primarily what meditation is controlling your mind through silence and solitude. Like Jesus did that all over the place because Jesus knew that's how life will work best. And this is the thing. So we're talking about Moses. I want to tell you the rest of the story with Moses, right? So he goes and he kills this guard and he runs out. And he actually is out in the desert being like a cattle shepherd dude for like years. And remember, I think he saw that person being mistreated and something welled up with him. And he had a passion. He had a calling on his life. Like, I need to set my people free. I was saved for a reason. My mom put me in that basket. She's crazy. I love her, but she's crazy. She put me in that basket, put me down the river. I got saved. I was spared from these people killing me. Like, I have a purpose in my life. I'm going to go protect this person. He went about it the wrong way, so he had to go far away. And then he's just being a shepherd. And it's funny because I've heard people in churches talk about this, like, well, he was being prepared. Like, God was preparing him to do the thing that he wanted. Like, no, I think he was just hiding. Like, I think he was just, honestly, just wasting his life. And he was pursuing temporary, easy times right now. Like, life's going to be good. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to worry about anything. No one knows who I am. No one knows anything about me. I think he was pursuing that life, and he was wasting the life that God called him to live and the purpose he had because he wasn't pursuing the right things. And this is what I'd say for you is like, you don't want to waste your life. And I don't want you to waste your life. And I don't want you to wake up in 6 months or 6 years or 16 years from now and go, man, like, I wasted so much time and so much energy and so much resources because I was pursuing the wrong things. I thought I was so right, but I was so wrong. Like, I want to help you with that because here's the deal. Like, there's been seasons of my life, days, weeks, months where I've wasted time. I've wasted my life. And you never get that back. And this is my desire for you is that you would pursue God's best for you because it's what's best for you. And you wouldn't waste your life, but you would live your life to the fullest, that you would discover your purpose and you'd find freedom in Jesus, that you would follow him. And this is what I'd say too is, even, again, you're not religious, that's fine. I'd say just try it out. If Jesus is really who he says he is, if Jesus really came and lived and died, like called his own shot and said, I'm going to die and come back 3 days, if he actually did that, which I think there's evidence that he actually did that, like he probably knows about a thing or two about life. So just try it out. You don't have to buy into everything, but would you just take time this week to start your day pursuing connection with God instead of trying to get all the connection, all the pursuit of everything else around you that's temporary, because I don't want your life to be fragile. I don't think Jesus does either. Would you guys pray with me as we wrap up and just pray for strength and pray for wisdom and what we're doing this next week? God, thank you so much for what you're doing here at Velocity. God, thank you for the time we've had tonight. God, for the fun. And God, just help us to be able to really take time to focus on what matters this week, to pursue what matters most this week. God, that we wouldn't waste our lives. God, we wouldn't waste our days. God, that we would have lives that are not fragile but are steady. And God, that things would just come to us and we would be able to handle them because we have a steady and focused heart and mind. And God, I pray for kids in this room, God, kids watching online, students, God, knowing so many of us struggle with anxious thoughts, anxious feelings, and some have a known purpose, some don't. God, I pray we get help. God, we would be able to follow you and see that you truly know the best way to live life. We love you, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.
If you guys feel comfortable, you guys can come back up here. Sing this last song.
control what tomorrow will bring, but I know here in the middle is a place where you promised to be. Not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? As I walk now through the valley
come? Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again?
Man, we're glad you guys joined us here tonight. You guys are dismissed into small groups.